Coming up on ATV News.
A potential new law could help you breathe a little easier. We'll tell you why.
When emergency crews found this plane upside down in a field, they expected the worst, but what they got was amazed.
Be sure to catch our weather forecast before making any plans for the weekend, but especially if you have plans before the weekend.
With the Aggies playing the Spartans this weekend, you'll have the chance to witness history being made. Coming up in sports, we'll tell you how.
Want to see how you can catch the next cool movie? We'll show you the film festival you can walk to that gets entries from around the world.
Your ATV News starts right now. Welcome to ATV News. I'm Katrina Warburton.
And I'm Kelton Wells. An airplane ride over Cache Valley that was supposed to be a cool birthday present quickly turned into something very different for a local family on Saturday afternoon, when the plane they were riding stalled. All 5 passengers left the scene unharmed, something passenger Jonathan Fielding calls a miracle. When Kara Fielding woke up Saturday morning, she'd never even been on an airplane before. Neither had her 7-month-old son Jacob. But by that afternoon, they'd not only survived their first plane ride, they'd survived their first crash, too.
I definitely had my stomach in my throat. And when he said, "Oh crap," and I said, "Are we really going to land out here?" And he said, "Yes."
The trip started out just fine, but at an elevation of 8,500 feet, pilot Lynn Goodsell knew something was wrong as they descended over the Wellsville Mountains.
Just south of Sherwood Hills, we was climbing, we was gaining altitude, and we just lost engine power.
That's when Goodsell and the Fieldings started looking for an unlikely place to land.
We were looking for roads that didn't have any lines on it, but they were covered out here. And so we're looking out and I said, "How about this field right here?"
You can see where the wheels touched down. As the plane slid along, it lost its front wheel and continued to plow through the snow until the nose dug into the dirt, which caused the plane to flip, landing on its back in the middle of this field. Spencer Kuntz saw the whole thing.
Then all of a sudden I saw the plane go down, and then the nose went down, and then it crashed, and then a big puff of snow.
Investigators say it was quick thinking by Goodsell that guaranteed a happy ending to this story.
We're absolutely pleased with the results, because a lot of times when you get these calls, we're usually not this lucky.
And just when this story couldn't get any more amazing, Kara Fielding says she'd be willing to do the whole thing again.
Oh yeah, I'll get back in a plane. Lynn said he'd take me back in his 2-seater. I'd happily go again.
Stunt planes. We can do barrel rolls and stuff.
Investigators from the FAA still aren't sure what exactly happened, but when we talked to the pilot, he thought the carburetor likely iced over and caused the engine to fail.
A week after a school bus slid off the road and onto the side, the 6 people who were on board are doing okay. Police say snowy conditions contributed to the accident on Wednesday last week. The bus was driving on 400 East in Trenton when it slid off the road into a canal. One wheelchair-bound student couldn't get off right away, but was carried off by emergency responders. According to the sheriff's office, students were checked out for injuries before being sent home with their parents.
I'm just glad, like the parents probably are, that all the children are safe and okay, and it's quite I'm sure, a traumatic experience. And no one expects that, so hopefully all of them are okay.
While the exact cause of the accident is still under investigation, officials believe that the bus was just too close to the side of the road.
With the inversion this winter affecting your health and day-to-day lives, is there any hope to fix it? Jenna Lynn went to find out whether or not emissions laws are the answer.
Wintertime in Cache Valley brings horrible inversions, but what makes them so bad? The 2 main contributing factors are airborne ammonia and man-made nitric acid.
We know that we're ammonia rich in the valley, so it's not going to make any economic sense at this point to try to reduce our ammonia. We'd have to reduce it too much before we'd even see a change. Whereas if we can reduce that nitric acid side of things, we'll start seeing a change very quickly.
The enforcement of new emission laws is being debated to help cut back the amount of harmful fumes released by vehicles on the road.
Many people argue that Logan's bad air comes from a lot more than just emissions from cars like these. Will implementing a new emissions law really make that big of a difference?
There's a lot of talk in the Valley about these vehicle inspection maintenance programs. A lot of people are against them. But my attitude is, if you're going to drive on the roads, you really have to contribute to solving the problem. Most of the emissions testing, if it's a 96 or newer automobile, you just go plug in your computer and it tells you if you're passed. If they don't pass, it's usually a spark plug wire that's bad or just a timing issue, a very simple tune-up fix. So yeah, you don't have to do anything extra. It's just a matter of making sure your car is running properly.
And some people encourage these new laws.
Being up here, it's just really bad. It's like really, really bad. Like I just feel like I can't even like go outside sometimes, and it's like hazy a lot of the times. So I think it'd be like an awesome idea to have them do it yearly, because the less emission, the less inversion effect.
It's everybody's problem, so everybody's got to help out.
Jenna Lynn, ATV News.
Representatives from the Utah Division of Air Quality are working to start an emissions testing program here in Cache Valley. For now, it's scheduled to be underway in December.
The Super Bowl, football's biggest stage. You expect everything to go as planned. That's not what happened during Sunday's big game when half of the stadium lights went out. After 2 plays in the second half, much of the Super Bowl dome lost power, leaving the teams and over 70,000 people in the dark. The game was delayed for 34 minutes while crews worked to get power back on and know the cause of the blackout. It is unknown, but the NFL said it was not because of the game's halftime show. The electrical company is still looking into what exactly caused the lights to shut off. So I don't know why that happened, but it was so frustrating right after the halftime, and like you're ready for it to get started, and then
excited for the game to get going again.
Yeah, and then you have to wait another 34 minutes.
Yeah. Well, coming up after the break, you won't believe one store owner's technique for catching shoplifters.
And we'll show you what's got these comedians looking for laughs.
Most local businesses protect themselves against shoplifters, but one Cache Valley shop owner went to extremes. When Jessica McWhinney, owner of the Persian Peacock, discovered she had video of a shoplifter, she took to Facebook to get justice. McWhinney posted a description of the man and gave him a time limit to return to the store and to pay for what he had stolen. She threatened public shaming if he refused. The post generated a flurry of interest, and the next day, McWhinney found her $40 shoved in the door.
We deal with shoplifters, and it's just something that I take personally, and I was just riled up about it and realized I had cameras that caught him, and used that to make a threat on Facebook to, well, we didn't want the stuff back, but to get reimbursed for it.
McWhinney says it wasn't her intent to publicly humiliate the man, but just to effectively deal with shoplifting.
Most students jump at the idea of studying abroad, but there is one thing that causes some students to wait until it may be too late to go.
I'd be gone already. I probably would have done like 3 already if money wasn't anything.
I don't have any money at all. Like, my family's super poor.
Here at the Study Abroad Fair, finances are usually on every student's mind when they think about studying abroad. Even students who have already left depend on different ways to get the money they need.
Financial aid I definitely couldn't have gone without financial aid. There's no way. I have a scholarship for school back home. Also, I have a third-party scholarship that I am applying toward it, a Pell Grant, and also a loan.
Some students have even thought about taking time off school to work so they can earn the money that it will cost for them to study out of the States.
My roommates, we've all really wanted to go on one, but the opportunity's never really arisen that we've been able to afford it.
With rent, groceries, and other school expenses, it seems like more money is coming out of the student's bank account than going in.
Our programs are exchange programs, so it's based on USU tuition and fees. So if you can afford to study here, then you can afford to study somewhere else. And so you'll pay USU tuition fees here, and then someone in like Mexico will pay their tuition and fees, and then you just swap places.
Study abroad programs have also made websites and organizations to make it easier for students and their bank accounts to experience an education abroad. Marie Tietze, ATV News.
If you are looking for cheaper ways to pay to study abroad, visit goabroad.com.
What comes to mind when you think of Black History Month? Lauren Brewer is outside to explain how the USU Black Student Union is hoping to change just what you think when you think of Black History Month. Lauren?
Some of you may have been wondering, what happened to Black Soul Food Dinner Night? Well, the Black Student Union says they wanted to change things up. When it comes to Black History Month here at Utah State University, this may not be what you expect to see or hear.
We decided let's do something different this year. Let's just present Black History Month in a different way.
They say they have one important reason why they changed things up this year.
It breaks ignorance. It breaks the stereotype that, African Americans, all they do is like can fried chicken or just do soul food.
Instead, you get a feast for the ears. The song Sacred Women by Jess Scott was specially created for the Logan Canyon Winds Ensemble.
This would be a great opportunity to have a new piece of music by an African American composer for us to play with our students.
It was really kind of inspiring to be able to hear the uplifting music as it really just got to hit your soul.
The USU Step team also performed, and they were able to show me a step or two.
I'm here with the USU Step team with Jasmine and Alex. And they're going to show me how to dance real quick.
Same foot. That. Foot.
Oh.
Yeah, just like that.
As you can see, it's a little bit more complicated than it looks. These guys make it look easy.
It's empowering and moving to have people see culture and to understand culture and understand what African Americans are capable of.
And the Black Student Union says that they want to do more events like this in the future. Back to you guys.
Be sure to keep an eye out for more of the Black Student Union's events this semester, including the Soul Food Dinner in April. Well, the weather's been changing a little bit. It's been getting a little bit warmer, snow's melting.
Yeah, it's been nice. Our Jenna Lynn will have your weather forecast right after this.
So what do you guys think about this weather we've been having lately?
I'm enjoying it a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a little bit more warm lately.
I walked around without my coat today. It was kind of nice.
And the snow's been melting. I personally like that. So let's take a look to see what it's actually doing out there. Well, it's looking pretty clear out there right now. Got a little bit of clouds, and that kind of goes along with what we're seeing here on our nation forecast. As you can tell, there's a lot of snow going on up in the north, on both sides of the country actually, leaving it a little bit drier for us down here in the south and the north side. So just barely missing us here in Utah, which is nice for those of you who like the snow melt, but it's kind of bad for those of us who actually want clean air. So the inversion is back in Utah, and you can actually kind of see it here. You can see the darker green areas and even up in the north part of the state, which shows that the inversion is here. It's because it's been just barely cold enough to start that up again. You can see the AQI level is at 123, which has been deemed unhealthy for sensitive groups. You kind of want to stay away from being outside if you have any problems with breathing or lungs or heart conditions. To look at the 5-day forecast, you can see that it's going to continue to be this way for the beginning part of the week here. Again, you want to avoid going outside if you can, avoid exercising outside especially, as it stays in the low 30s and getting down into the lower double digits at night. The weekend, though, will be bringing back snow for those of you who like that. Means you kind of have to be careful if you're planning on doing weekend traveling, but it'll be pretty great. So, yeah.
So you're telling me the inversion is back?
Unfortunately, yes.
But it might be clearing up over the weekend?
It should definitely be. There's a 60% chance of snow, so we'll be doing good. We'll be getting the snow back.
Good. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, it was a big weekend in sports, including the Super Bowl.
Courtney Robinson will have your ATV Sports right after the break. Hey,
Hey y'all, I'm Courtney Robinson and I've got all your sports covered right now. Well, the city of New Orleans played host to Super Bowl 47, which featured the AFC champion Baltimore Ravens and the NFC 49ers. The Super Bowl 47 was the first to feature two brothers as head coaching. This 108-yard touchdown returned by Jacoby Jones ties the record for the longest scoring play in the Super Bowl history. But shortly after, the lights in the Superdome went out. Well, when the lights returned, so did the 49er offense, as they were able to pull within 2-point touchdown returned by Colin Kaepernick. But they missed the 2-point conversion. However, with one last shot at the game-winning touchdown, the 49ers weren't able to execute. The Ravens won 34-31, and Ray Lewis retired a champion. This championship is the only second bowl victory for the Ravens. This game also served as San Francisco's first Super Bowl loss. After a tough road trip in San Jose, the Aggie Club hockey team returned home to take on a pair of in-state rivals. Weber State was the first foe.
With Brian Gibbons sitting on a suspension, the Aggies took to the ice. A tough first period found the Skaters facing a 1-0 deficit heading into the second. The Aggies got on the board when Stu Hepburn buried a shot. The goal not only tied the game, but sent stuffed animals flying onto the ice for the annual teddy bear toss. The Aggies added 2 more goals in the period.
When you don't score for a little while, that net starts looking pretty small. So to get one in there definitely, gave us a little bit of momentum, and so we, got a little boost from that.
Tied again in the third, a diving Cooper Lynn takes a shot and Matt Hamilton tips it in. The Aggies added an empty netter to seal the win.
They came out hard. I mean, we were a little bit flat, and they've been playing well all second semester, so we kind of didn't expect it. So back and forth, I mean, it's good for the fans, good for us to finally be in a tight game at home here. So just glad we came up on top there.
We've been having a lot of close games recently, which is actually a good test for us because we're used to being up by quite a few goals on teams. And we're forced to play a little bit more playoff style hockey, which is not as pretty, but it's more hard working.
After winning 6-4 over the Wildcats, the Aggies hit the road again, this time heading to Salt Lake to take on the Skating Utes. It was a tough matchup for the Aggies, but they came out on top 2-1. The Aggies' dominating defense led Aggie men's basketball to a road sweep, beating the Vandals 77-67 and then holding Seattle U to just 46 points. The Aggies improved to a 16-5 record. Jared Shaw had a game high of 16 points, while Spencer Butterfield registered a double-double for the 4th straight game. Tanell Rowland with a career high of 12 points off the bench, and the Aggies take on the Spartans this Friday, wrapping up their 3-game road trip and then returning to the Spectrum February 14th to host Denver. The Aggies are currently ranked 4th in the WAC. The Aggie basketball was in action, hosting 2 teams in the WAC. Winning both would mean claiming first place in the conference. Our own Lee Kubik was there.
The Aggies started Game 1 of a tough homestand against Idaho, although this game ended up being anything but close. The Aggies dominated from start to finish, with 5 players scoring in double digits. Devin Christensen became USU's all-time career free throw leader with this trip to the line. The Aggies went on to steamroll the Vandals in an 81-50 rout.
It's a good start for us for the second half of conference, and it's given us some confidence. This 3rd place team, we're 2nd, so now we have a 2-game gap.
After such a strong performance earlier in the week, let's see if the Aggies can match that performance here tonight against WAC-leading Seattle.
After starting cold, the Aggies were able to keep within striking distance with plays from Christensen and Johnson. USU came out of halftime looking like a different team. Threes from Schlott and Christensen provided the spark offensively, while a block party shut down Seattle to get the Aggies close. USU took the lead with this second chance effort from Johnson and never looked back. Christensen's final 2 points of her game-high 28 sealed the deal 67-62.
All week in practice we were focusing on, coming together as a team and doing the little things, and it was fun to be out there tonight
to actually do those things and to come out on top of the win and to take sole possession of first.
Tonight was kind of a microcosm of our year, just to never say die.
USU's next home game is Saturday against San Jose State. Lee Kubik, ATV Sports.
Next Saturday, Devin Christensen could set the all-time Aggie scoring record if she scores just 9 points, a record that's been in place since 1980. With the Aggie women being #1 in the WAC, it could be a big game, for them on Saturday. So hopefully she'll be able to come out on top.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Something funny was going on over at the TSC this weekend, and we sent ATV's Tamara Bradley to find out more about these comedians with a cause.
As much as I enjoyed this, we took pictures to make a scrapbook. I didn't take pictures. Yeah, I did.
When 5 grown men get on stage unscripted and leave things up to chance, sometimes you just can't help but laugh.
So while I was in the shower, the world ended.
Local comedy improv team Logan Out Loud was bringing down the house Friday as they performed in the ballroom of the Taggart Student Center.
No matter how many times someone comes and sees the show and sees the same game, same gimmicks, it's always a completely different thing.
But the comedy troupe isn't just about fun and games all the time. Saturday's event was for a cause that was no laughing matter. Proceeds from the concert will be donated to help pay for USU student David Grange's medical bills, who was in an accident with a vehicle last November.
A car pulled out in front of me. I hit the brakes, went over the handlebars of my motorcycle, and my head got lodged in the wheel well of the car, and then the car dragged me about 15 feet by my head.
Among other surgeries, Grange had to have brain surgery on his right side.
We're just always looking for opportunities to help people out because we're not doctors, we can't really lift heavy objects, but we can make people laugh, and doing something like this, a fundraiser, is a good way to help out.
Grange says there's no way to show all his gratitude.
Like, words can't really express it. Like, when I tell them thank you, I feel dumb because thank you doesn't cut it.
Tamara Bradley, ATV News.
Grange's friends continue to plan more fundraisers for him as the semesters go on.
All the movies that you've ever seen had to start somewhere, maybe even as a short in a film festival like the one coming to Logan in just a few weeks. The deadline for entering movies was Thursday, and now the people behind the scenes are choosing their favorite ones for viewers like you to see.
With the Logan Film Festival coming up, over 100 films have been turned in by people from all over the world.
We have more films this year with less time, and so we have like 120 films and we can only show maybe 20 of them.
This year there are 2 venues, the Kane and Don Sant Theaters.
Here at the Kane Theater, the seats are all empty, but as soon as the Logan Film Festival comes around, that probably won't be the case.
Enjoying it, and there's all these filmmakers that come from all over the country, and so we just get to hang out with them, talk with them, and watch films. And it's just pretty chill, and that's probably my favorite part.
Right now, yeah, it's primarily volunteer, and I know that like down the road, we'd like to turn it into paid positions to run the festival. We'll always be nonprofit.
Board members claim to spend roughly 100 unpaid hours planning the event.
What keeps me going is the fact that I feel like we're a part of something that will eventually become great. Right now it's not, but I do feel like it has potential to become something great, and I want to be a part of that and kind of have my name stamped on that, like I created this thing.
It's not as big as some other film festivals, but who knows how it will grow. Victoria Cardin, ATV News.
Tickets go on sale beginning on the 15th, and the festival will be held March 21st through the 23rd.
Well, thanks for joining us for ATV News.
We leave you today with the sounds and sights from the Black History Month celebration. Have a great day, Aggies.